Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday after the long holiday break here in the U.S. for Thanksgiving. I'll be doing a quick flight here. As always, my flights are quick, but we do one spot to one spot. Right about an hour, we're going to be flying San Diego to Oakland, California. Got ORTHO4XP scenery throughout the entire route. And weather looks clear, so we should have some nice views out the window there. Anyway, let's get back in the plane and get started. So as you can see, we are cold and dark. Let's get started up here. First thing to do, let's get our ground power on. Get our battery connected here, standby power on, and get our emergency lighting enabled. And let's get our IRSs aligned. While we're up here, we will turn up the panel lights a little bit. Or, well, a lot. I like to have the panel lights up. And we'll get our APU started. So we'll get a fuel pump going. Usually wait about 3 seconds until we get the low pressure light on here, and we should start seeing our EGT on the APU start going up. Let's see, our cruise altitude today, while we're up here, we'll take a look. I think it's going to be about 34,000. So we'll set that. Landing altitude at Oakland is like 17 feet, so we'll just leave that at 0. And we will get our smoking sign on and our seatbelt sign on so the passengers can get seated.
Captain Hudson on the fasten seatbelt sign. We do ask that all passengers take your seat at this time and please fasten your seatbelt.
Alright, let's take a look down at the panel here. We'll turn our lights up again. I like to have my backlit lights on. It is daytime, so we'll leave the other ones off. Clear out our little messages down here. Get into the FMC. Set our initial position here. KSAN for San Diego. And forgot what gate we're at. I think we're at Terminal 1. Where's my T1? Gate 6. Not that you need to put that in there, but we'll just throw that in there. Alright, so we got to get our IRS position. We'll go over to the next page. We'll grab our GPS location and drop that in there. And boom. I've got the quick 1 minute IRS alignment done because I hate waiting for like 7-8 minutes to have that done. Alright, so let's see. Next page, we're going to go to our route. And we are going to Oakland. So that's KOAK, Oakland. Go over to our performance. We'll just take the defaults here. We got plenty of fuel for the flight. We could reduce that probably by a little bit, but we'll just leave it where it is. Reserve, probably about 5,000, just ballpark figuring it here. Cost index, alright, flight altitude, what did I say, 34,000, we'll put that in there. N1 limits, we'll just keep them maxed out here. Selected climb, I never really played with this yet, so, you know, doing like derated climbs and all that stuff, so we'll just I usually just leave it as is. Takeoff flaps are going to be 5 degrees. We'll get our CG here, 5. While we're looking down here, I'll get my trim tab set. Right around 5. Take our V speeds and put those in there. Departure out of here. We do the Lindsay 5. We're not going to do any of these transitions. We're actually going to go direct LAX. Sometimes you do this SXC, which is actually like the Channel Islands, or Catalina Island. But that kind of takes us out of the way, so we're not going to bother doing that. We're just going to take off on the Lindsay 5 departure and get vectored right over to LAX and then onto our final route. Let's take a look here. All right. Oop, forgot to execute that. There we go. All right, so Lindsay and 27. Now let's go over to Oakland. Oakland arrival. Let me take a look at my other page here, my other screen. Let's see, what do we get for arrivals? We are going to be landing runway 30. Winds are generally out of the northwest. RNAV 30 Yankee. We'll take that one. Our good transition. Don't see that there, but let's see. We want an EMSO 3. Do we have an EMSO 3? Yes, we do. EMSO 3 are good. There it is. Select that. That should be pretty much a straight in shot into Oakland since we're going to be coming up from the south. Let's take a look at our legs here. See if there's anything hokey, any discontinuities. Take off runway 27. And we get some little intersections here as we're turning. All looks good. Lindsay, and then we could put LAX in here because then that's our arrival. And Gorman, let's do let's go direct Gorman, GMN. So let's see if we can put that in there. GMN, Gorman. Put that in there, and we want Gorman VOR. Yes, that is the one. NDB waypoint. We'll just do the waypoint one, which I think. And there's some hokey ones here. We'll just do the VOR. Same thing. I don't know what this bottom one is. That one looks way off someplace. Gorman VOR. We'll take that. Execute that. Get rid of our discontinuity here. See, I don't know what happened. Every time I try to stick something in there, it screws it up. It like reloads everything. Yeah, we got 9 pages now. Ugh. Alright, let's try doing this again. Go down the line. We should have just went direct. Lindsay to our good. See? We'll get rid of everything else after that. And then to runway. And then we got it. And see, it stuck my Gorman in here. So let's go ahead and clear that out. Delete. Delete. I think that's no, that's our what do you call it? Our alternate. So we'll just go back here. It kind of pasted in all of these others. Pasted in the route again, which kind of drives me bananas. It's probably something stupid that I'm doing, but whatever. I just got to go through all these and just, you know what I'll do? I'll just do this. Get rid of all these up to the discontinuity. Doing this the hard way. It's early in the morning. Yep. Get rid of all this. Let me go through a couple pages here and do all that. Back down here. There. I don't know. There's probably an easier way of doing this. Like I said, sometimes I screw it up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. And like I said, it's probably because I'm doing something stupid. That. Get back up there. And then finally, drop the last one in there. There we go. Now we got 5 pages. Let's go take a look to see if we screwed anything else up. Alright, we take off our runway. I'm looking at my distances here. Sometimes if something goes haywire, you all of a sudden have a waypoint, or the runway sometimes is like 6,000 miles away because it's, I don't know. Got something goofy in there. That looks fine. There's our transition. Lindsay are in good. It's a kind of our departure and then our arrival. And we're just going to go direct. It's pretty much a straight shot anyway. Okay, and then our arrival into... Just making sure we don't have any duplicates here, right? My hip, my knee, my shin, fix me. My calf, big PD, Franny, my toe to runway 30. You know, who says that aviation people that make this stuff up don't have a sense of humor? All right, so that looks good. The most complicated part of flying this thing is all set. All right, we'll leave our view down here, and we're going to go ahead and do our pushback. So I will pull up better pushback here. We're in San Diego. See our green airplane right there already selected. That looks good. We are at the Southwest Terminal.
Cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
So we will leave that there, and we are ready, so I'm going to call them. I've got better pushback commands on my keyboard, so I don't have to keep going up to the menu.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Alright, there's our tow. It's coming up. I'm going to smash through the building, run this dude over, and get us pushed back. So while I'm looking over here, let's turn this light on. It's a backlight for the co-pilot spot. Okay, and I'm going to be down here looking at this. We're going to be starting our engines. Go down to the bottom panel here. Turn that one up. And we're not going to send any radios or anything. We'll just play it by ear here. We'll make believe. We'll simulate our radio calls in our head. Alright, let's take a look out the front window. Actually, let's take a look outside and we'll see him hook up. There he is.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Set parking brake.
Alright, parking brake on. Which is kind of weird because it's almost like I take the parking brake off and the chocks come off. I don't know. There's so many commands for brakes in X-Plane, it sometimes gets confusing. But I got a method that works, so I'm sticking to it. I have my B key is mapped to brake on and off, or one of the brake things, and it does a couple of different things, but it does work.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, so now supposedly I release it, hit B again, he should start lifting us up.
And you may start engines.
And wow. Not playing around today. Alright, let's get back up here, get ourselves started up. So basically 737, you're just going to go up and down the panel. Easiest way to do it, right? And then you kind of jump around a little bit. So like yaw dampener, we can go ahead and put that on now. It might drop off now. We're on APU power, so it'll stay on. We'll come down here, we'll put all of our fuel pumps on since we do have fuel in all 3 tanks. Come back up here, double check everything is on. We do have APU power, which I never put on. We're still on ground power, so we'll go to APU power. And never turned our light on, so let's put our position light on here really quick. Alright, come back up here, coming down here, seatbelt lights, smoking signs on. We'll put our window heat on, put our pitot heat on, anti-ice we won't need. We'll put our hydraulic power on, and we should see these lights go off over there. Alright, come back up here. We are ready to start. APU bleed is on. We should have done that right after we started our APU. Just waited, but got to putzing around with the FMC there. Okay, so we are ready to start. We are getting pushed back. So the final thing we do here is we're going to remove or turn off our pack 1 and 2. We'll put our strobe on and we will get both engines started. Put them to ground. Now we're going to come back up here. We should see our N2 spinning up. If you look out, you'll see the engine start spinning around. Come back up here. Once it's at about 20, introduce fuel to both, and we are good. Both engines are starting up. Get back in the cockpit here. Okay, everything else is set. Both engines have now turned over. We've got generator power on both of them, so we'll put that on. We are now in generator power. We will turn off our APU, come back over here, turn our bleeds for engine 1 and 2 on, and our APU off, put our packs left and right back on. That's on auto. Everything else is set. No orange lights are illuminated on the top panel here, so we should be good to go. Right? We just reset that. All the lights are out here. Reset our caution. You can click on this again, just in case anything comes back up and stays on. You forgot something like usually yaw dampener or something like that. I think he asked me to turn the brake on, so let me put my brake back on.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
Thank you very much. Let's get on the way here. So final thing we're going to do here is set this up. We're going to put flight director on, arm our auto throttle. Our auto throttle, we're going to set our initial airspeed to 205. You could do it to like the one single, the V3 speed, which is like 160. I forgot what it was down there. I just set it to 205, which is usually our initial speed at the first intersection fix. Tell this guy, sure, disconnect us, set our altitude up to 34,000. We could go lower if we were getting vectored around, you get to the first altitude or whatever. And you can see here, this is what we're going to be doing. Taking off this runway, and we're going to be going to 421 feet, and then it jumps up to like 4,000, and so forth, all the way up.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been
to our
removed.
cruise altitude.
Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time, and have a great flight.
Let's take a look back here. Our cruise altitude of 240 right there. There's the top of altitude. You know what? We're going to do one more thing in here that I didn't do. We're going to come out over here to our cruise. We're going to set our cruise a little bit higher. 0.783. We'll go higher. I think it's like 320. Not that it's going to take that. It's going to take the Mach speed slash 0.810. All right. That'll get us a little bit quicker there. All right, there we go. And so now if we come back here, you'll see our cruise speed is now 0.810, and that's our big leg, 200 miles right there. And then we'll keep the remaining air speeds as is. All right, come back up here. Let's put our yoke back on so we can fly this sucker. All right, so he has pulled out. He's ready to go. Let's put our taxi light on. We'll put our logo on. Beacons on. Nav lights are already on. Wing lights we don't need on right now. Release our brake, and we'll start taxiing over to the runway. So give it a little bit of power, do a brake check. Yep, we stopped. Get ourselves rolling here. What's it like out here? I didn't even look. It looks fairly clear, a little hazy. It is early morning in San Diego. We get a little bit of marine layer. Bring our power back down a little bit. Don't want to be cruising or taxiing too fast. Alright, now that we're rolling here, we'll put our takeoff flaps on, or down. 2.5. See the flaps coming down. As I'm all over the taxiway here. Alright, and we'll put our auto braking to rejected takeoff, RTO. Flaps are set. Spoilers are down. I just usually double check those, because on my setup I have a Thrustmaster 16,000M joystick and throttle that I use. It's a separate throttle quadrant, so there's the built-in throttle lever or slider on the actual joystick, and it's right in front of the joystick. I actually use that for my speed brakes, for my spoilers, which makes it nice. See, I can adjust those however I want, which is really nice in the flight. The only problem is that sometimes if I'm wearing my watch, my wrist kind of is right above that, and I will tend to bump it. So I'm going to alert occasionally, especially on takeoff. If I just got it bumped just a little bit, so the spoilers are just up like, you know, half an inch, I get an alert there as soon as I bring the power up. And we are getting to the end of the runway here. Beautiful San Diego. Here's a commuter lot. That's what it's called, commuter lot. Downtown San Diego right ahead of us in the bay. Got a couple cruise ships over there in the distance, which we normally do have. It's still a little hazy here. We might go through some marine layer as we climb up. Jumping over to my other screen because I didn't see if anybody was on. Hey Grego, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Yes, I am on VATSIM. I was playing around with it yesterday. I'll probably do another flight on VATSIM later today. We're not going to do it for this flight just because I'm kind of on my break from work here. I'm going to set this up and let us fly out a little bit. Hello, Elite Aviator. How you doing? Welcome aboard.
Approaching 27.
Just in time for the takeoff. Landing lights are on. Taxi lights I usually turn off. We don't need them on daytime for departure. Wing lights, I flash my wing lights on and off in the daytime just to get the call out for the flight attendants prepare for departure.
27.
Alright, we got calm winds. I believe windsock looked pretty limp, so we can get this done. Bring our power up to about 50-ish. Try to stay on the center line. Click my N1. And off we go. Rotating. Excellent landing. I must add a little buff there. Wasn't aggressive enough with the rotation. Right, we are up positive rate here coming up. 400. 400 feet. We'll engage our nav here. LNAV and VNAV. Put our autopilot on. 1000. Get our first notch of flaps up. Departing out of San Diego. Always fun. Which one is better? IVAO, which I don't think I've ever heard of, or VATSIM? I don't know. I'm new to VATSIM, so I'm just kind of playing around with it. So kind of maybe check some of the other streams, guys that use that other one there. And yeah, GTX 1050 Ti absolutely will run X-Plane. I mean, I'm running it on something way less than that. You know, you got to play around with the sliders, even with like the very best video card. You'll get a frame rate hit if you got all of the, you know, everything just maxed out, you know, within X-Plane. So you got to kind of play around with the settings within X-Plane, you know, for your particular graphic cards. A 1050 will definitely run X-Plane with no problem. Alright, got Mission Bay underneath the wing there. Coming up to Pacific Beach right here. And La Jolla. A little hazy morning. So double check our route. Make sure, yeah, we should be coming up to our first intersection right there. Turning around La Jolla. And we will continue our climb out. Hey, so you got that, Grego, you got the 757 extended? Nice. That's the Flight Factor one, right? That's the one, I'm thinking about picking up the Flight Factor 757, but I'm hoping to get some funds for Christmas that will let me blow it on some flight simming stuff. Alright, back in the plane here. We're still just holding at 4,000. Just off the coast. I'm going to go ahead and... a little cloudiness there. A little shade in the cockpit. Is that the boat? Oh, I saw a boat go by. Yeah, I saw a little sailboat there. Just climb out here past what are we, Torrey Pines, Del Mar. Yeah, a little angled cloudiness there. Alright, we'll go I'm guessing we're climbing up to like 8,000, I think was our next altitude. We'll go landing lights off. And grab some music here for the remainder of the flight. If I can turn this down a little bit, let's see. So, turn that down a tad. Back in the cockpit here, let's see, almost coming up to Lindsay. Let's go ahead and take a look at our flight plan here. We'll zoom out a little bit. can see it's pretty much a straight shot from here all the way to our initial approach at Argood. Our airport's on here. Zoom in a little bit so you can actually see lots of airports. Let's see, what is this? Santa Ana. We'll fly right over the top of Santa Ana. And then out over LAX. Just to the east of LAX. Alright. Double check everything here after takeoff. Sometimes this anti-skid comes off by itself, sometimes it doesn't. I think maybe because I had that bump on departure there. For some reason it stayed on. We'll put our gear to off. Should have done that a little while ago. A little shade in here. Let's turn up some cockpit lights. Alright, got our altitude set. We are on course. Cruising away. Let's take a look around here. What do we got here? Ooh, Oceanside Harbor. I go paddleboarding here like once a week. Once every other week. Get some frame drops there. I like that view. Alright, I'm going to step away just for a second. Take a quick break here. Double check some other stuff I got happening in the house. And then we'll see how we do climbing out. Be right back. Till then, enjoy the music. Where are we over? And then I see Lake Elsinore, Temecula Valley. This is actually where I live, right there, in Temecula Valley. You can see Catalina Island, so we can get a better view here before the cloud obscures it. There it is. Catalina Airport up here on the ridge someplace. Looks like we are over Santa Ana pretty much. Yep, there's Newport Bay. There's John Wayne Airport. Long Beach over here, just under the wing. And LAX just under the engine there, right about over there. To reset my altimeter setting there. Coming up to our cruise altitude. Should start picking up speed here to 0.81. Turn our strobes off. We don't need those. Logo light can stay off. And we can leave those. I guess sometimes you put them on continuous for the climb out, and then usually just over to auto during the cruise phase. So this is the Zibo 737 mod. Turn the music down just a little bit. That one song is always kind of loud or soft, and this one comes back loud. So this, like I said, this is the Zibo mod, and then I have the what's it called? The RG black interior on top of that. Gives us the sort of black cockpit right here. A little bit darker, better contrast on some of the gauges, and actually the lighting too in the background. This lighting here is a little bit different. I'm using the light. It actually comes with two versions: a sort of standard version and a lighter, brighter version. I'm using the brighter one because if you use the default one, the back lighting on everything, it seems a little bit low, especially in the daytime. You might as well not even use it in the daytime, and I like to have my lighting all up all the time. Backlights, at least, you know, all of this stuff here, all of the orangey colors. But you can see darker panels, a bit of darker side panels. This stuff's all darker. The center panel, let me go ahead and just go over here to the center panel. This comes out real nice, a little dark. It's kind of dark in a cockpit here too, so it's actually darker than it sometimes seems. Don't really get a lot of the contrast. It also does all of the lighting here in the like the frequencies, and then up at the upper panel gives you this red sort of backlight on it. And it is kind of darker here right now. We got a little bit of shade. I guess it's still early, but you can see sort of the blue tinge on all the screens. You see that a lot more at nighttime. You can kind of see a little bit of it here. That's another thing that that RG mod does. It gives you the black, or the blue background on the clocks right here. Real nice. Definitely enhances this. It does turn all of these green on the autopilot rack here. I think the default are just like the same orange with the, I don't know if I can't remember if it had green lights when you activate something. Gives you the blue tinge on the background here. And then if you look at the upper panel, it gives you that same orange on the windows right here. And then a lot of the lighting, since I don't have them on here, but like say if I turn my pitot off here, you can see these are really nice and bright. It does a little bit more colorful in the cockpit look here than the default. Alright, let's take a look outside, see where we're at. We are just coming up to LAX here. Yep. See if we can see it out our window here. See Santa Monica. There's a... Let's see, give you a little Southern California tour here. So this is Malibu. All of this little jut right here is the Malibu. Malibu Beach is right over here. We got Santa Monica. This is Marina Del Rey. Right here, Santa Monica Airport, right over here, where my cursor is. LAX, down below us. I'm going to try to figure out why I get these two different orthos. I think I'm using, for some reason, I might have been using like two different ortho series of photos, and that's why you get this kind of contrast right here between the two, right through the center of LA. So right over here is Beverly Hills. It's this little triangle. I think that's right, yeah. So that's Beverly Hills. Rodeo Drive, all that stuff, Melrose. Here's the Hollywood Hills down here. Trying to get my view so I can get it lower. There is that Van Nuys, or is that Burbank? I can't remember. I think that's Burbank. Yeah, Van Nuys is up there. So Van Nuys on the Van Nuys right there where the cursor, or sorry, Burbank right there where the cursor is, and then Van Nuys right there. Taking a look back at downtown LA, right there. We pretty much flew right over the top of it. Hollywood sign is someplace over here, roundabout. About where my cursor is. Have to zoom in a little bit closer. You can't really see it on the ortho unless you're like looking right on top of it, because it, you know, obviously flattens it out. It's not three-dimensional. the high desert over here. Alrighty, so let's just listen to some tunes and watch the scenery go by here. Take a check inside the in the cockpit, make sure everything's looking good here. We are speeding up. Yes, 8-1, very good. On course. A little bit of light chop, we don't even call it that. What are our winds here? 26 knots out of the left, crosswind. Ground speed is at 478, so making pretty good time there. Not a lot of wind today. Wind should pick up a little bit towards Oakland, but not by much. Alright, let's take a look outside. A good view. How about this one? Let's see what it looks like here. We'll watch Malibu go by for a little bit. There's Malibu Hills. Going to double check our speed here a little bit. See if we can't squeeze a little bit more out of this thing. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Had a few crashes on X-Plane, meaning the sim actually crashed, not the plane. Let's see here. Go to our cruise page. See if we can bump that up a little tiny bit. Actually, let's look at progress here first. 1921. Ooh, it's just about 50 minutes. We may have to do 2 streams here. 'Cause I got a meeting I gotta run to in about 35 minutes. So I'll try to speed this up anyway. Let's see, where am I going? Cruise. Let's do what is it? Let's see. What do we got here? 20, 310, 300. So that's 290. Let's do 2. Again, it's holding the Mach speed here really, but I try to keep that as best I can. Let's say 295/.8. 1.2 it doesn't let me do, but it will let me do 0.819. Let's see if it does that. Ooh, it did take it. I wonder if it would let me take 0.82. I think there's a limit here for some reason. Let's try, what is it, 295/.820. And it did let me take it. Max us out here. Let's go. Faster, faster. Let me try if it'll let me take a little bit more. 295/.830. I don't think it's going to let me do that. I'm going to give you, yeah, invalid entry. So I think 0.82 is the max. Run into a little bit of chop over the Central Valley. Let's see, what do we got here? Here's Ventura County. Ventura is right down here. Santa Paula Airport is someplace right over here. Just the other day, Harrison Ford, you know, he flies around a lot all over Southern California. It was in the news. I guess he landed at Santa Paula, wherever the airport is right here. Was driving out of the airport, stopped on one of the freeways there to help somebody out. Had a flat tire or something. A little trivia, a little California news for you. Alright, we'll see how we do here. Hopefully we can get down in time before I gotta cut the stream short. Coming up to, what is that, Fresno? Out here in the valley. I like that view. Got the Channel Islands out here in the haze, off in the distance. All right, let's watch Southern California turn into Central California here. Nice flight through California today. Let's see what it looks like over here. Bakersfield, just passing off to the side. Santa Barbara way down on the coast. Vandenberg Air Force Base. Paso Robles. And is that Fresno? What was the other one? I get my Central Valley mixed up. I don't normally travel through there. In real life, I mean, so. about 40 miles from top of descent. Let's take a look, see how much time we got left in this flight. Like I said, unfortunately I'm going to have to do part 1 and 2. Because I have got a meeting I got to run to. In about 15 minutes. And we will not be arriving in Oakland until 23 after the hour. It's 18:43 right now. Arrival time 19:23. So I think what I'm going to do is call this part 1, pause the simulator, and then finish part 2 after my meeting. Give it another couple minutes here. Take a look at some of that nice ORTHO4XP scenery going by. Unfortunately under the clouds over there. Let's see, I guess that was the best shot here, huh? Let's take a look around a little bit. Good look at the San Andreas Fault. And the San Andreas Fault runs right through here. Alright guys, I think I'm going to have to call it the end of part 1 right here. So tune back in about probably an hour and a half to 2 hours from now for the approach and landing into Oakland. So I'm going to go ahead and pause right here, and then we'll pick up right where we left off here. Thanks for watching again. Tune back in, like I said, an hour and a half or so.